Hello, everyone. A very good morning to all of you. Welcome back to this Happy Winnings Monday, and welcome back from this Chinese New Year celebrations. 恭喜发财, Happy Chinese New Year. This year is the year of Tiger, and hereby wish all of you a roaring Tiger year with greater health, greater prosperity, a lots of new energy, new momentum, and a great success like a tiger. In one word, so can you tell me how was your Chinese New Year? You can now start to type it on the chat to tell us how's your Chinese New Year. After not being able to travel for the last 2 years, I believe this year will be a great celebration, a great time together with the friends and family. For myself, it's a great relief that I'm able to just gather with my relatives after 2 years not meeting them as well. I was back in Kampar, Penang, and Ipoh, having good times celebrating. So let's see what are some of the responses from chat and how's your Chinese New Year. All right, let's see. It's yeah, happy birthday to everyone. Today is Yan Yat Cho Chat, yeah. All right, it's good. Gain some weight. All right, it's fat, awesome. It's too much food, wonderful time. Yeah, it's a time of all about food. Yeah, 2 years of long story. All right, it's good. And what is the one win for yourself this morning? For the past 1 month entering into year 2022, do key in the chat and do share with us your joy and the win that you have so that we can basically share this together with you. Yeah, share with us what is your past 1 month winnings, because this morning is about it's about winning Mondays, right? So we all talk about winning more market share, winnings all together. We want to hear your stories of winning for these coming months. For the past 1 month, how was your winnings you can share with us before we kick off for today. Win some heart of good campers came into KW family. Wow, that's great. Congrats. Let's see, there's many more responses from chat. Right, lead gen generating me new listings. Very good. Thanks, Shamila. Thanks for sharing this. Let's see any more wins. Let's celebrate, whether it's big win or small win. Let's celebrate this together. The biggest win for myself, this Chinese New Year, is the successful launch of DataLabs on the 31st of January, which is just 1 day earlier than what we promised to the expected launch that John have shared with everyone on the 20th of January. And I want to take this time to also thank Marcus, our tech managers, who have led this project successfully. Lots of preparations and hard work that has actually put forth to actually make this happen. So if you happen to see Marcus around, do give him a pat and give him encouragement, good job for bringing this to making this happen. Just a little bit of information of DataLabs. DataLabs is designed to be a single source of data for the industry, where we work very closely with the authorized body to pair the public and also private transactions with real-time information to deliver the right data and insights for all of you. With DataLabs, we aim to help you to make informed decisions through market intelligence reports with the latest market insights and informations. Help your customers to diagnose, monitor, and also evaluate their properties valuations, and help you to become the expert to buy, sell, and invest with DataLabs' latest insights on trends and transactions within your specific developments and focus area. You can also easily leverage on DataLabs in developing, implementing, and managing customized solutions for property data analytics. I hope that you have been able to use DataLabs and able to log in. If you have been successfully logging into DataLabs, press 9 so that we can know how many of you have successfully able to enter log into DataLabs. Wow, okay, more 9s are coming. All right, it's good. Come on, yeah. Good. And if you have been using DataLabs, okay, and have been benefited from it, now press 8. Right, so we are coming to this party that Charles liked the most. He had this 98 Gao Huat parties over the Chinese New Year, right? So later we'll get him to share a little bit more on this, what kind of a party that's having so much over the Chinese New Year. All right, it's good. Lots of you have been benefiting for it. Can you share with us how have you been how DataLabs have been benefiting for you so far? Right, you can type it on the chat. Right, how has it been benefiting to you so far for DataLabs? right? Do share with us how you have been using DataLabs and how has it been benefiting to you so far, so that this session will be more interactive, so that we know how much you have been benefiting and what would be your questions to be. If you have any questions that you would like Charles to help you to answer, we're gonna gather all your questions. You can actually type it on the chat, and then we will be I will be basically facilitating the questions at the end of the sessions after he has answers all my prepared questions. Okay, it's good. All right, it's how have you been benefiting from DataLabs? From Yuanlings, share the past transaction to owner to benchmark the selling price. That's great. That's awesome. That's how you've been using that. That's good. Let's see this. Do we have any more responses on this? And if you are our guest today and you're interested to have a demo on DataLabs, feel free to let the person who actually invited you to this meeting let us know how we can basically do a demo for you as well, so that you can be benefited. If you are a guest today, you can also press 1 so that we know that you are around. We have a special gift for you at the end of today. Yeah, it's only for the guests, who actually join us today. We have a special gift for you at the end of today's seminar. Oh, welcome, Eric. Thank you for joining us. All right, it's good. More updated transacted data. It's good, interesting. For all, these very interesting things for all agents with DataLabs are that the ability to know exactly who to talk to, to understand the buyer profiles and also the purchasing behavior, and also the ability to identify the specific trends and gaps in the markets. In a nutshell, through DataLabs, that you are able to reduce costs, faster decision makings, and also improve the process efficiency. Joining me today, this morning, is Mr. Charles Lee, our Keller Williams Malaysia Regional Head of Growth and Expansions. Charles and I have started these interesting conversations where I asked him a lot of questions about his experience, his hacking tricks, how he used to meeting R2 agents and clients. He started to share with me a lot of his new insights and how he did it, and I was like, wow, it's quite impressive and interesting. So when I was asked to host these Monday mornings, winnings Mondays sessions, they asked me, when want to feature about DataLabs, who would be the best person to talk about it? It's definitely not me, but a person who have been using it and been really experiencing and show me a lot of tricks this morning will be Charles. Okay, let's put our hand together and welcome Charles to this show. Welcome, Charles.
Hi, morning.
Morning. It's Charles, tell us a little bit about yourself and your experience in industry and your work with the regional team.
I think most of them have already known me. So I've been with the regional since 2019. Okay, where first when they first launched KW, I've already been with them. So previously, as work as an agent, always have mindset an agent, and those days, I think currently our agents are more fortunate than those days that when I first joined the industry, and that's what I can share. But other things I think is not important. But today, I think what is more important is our audience, right? And that's why to bring the what to you all, right? We all wear the couple shirt. The red shirt for you all, okay? And okay, maybe throw me another question.
Right, it's good. Charles, in your own word, what is DataLabs to you?
Oh, DataLabs. If you all have seen my posting in Facebook during Chinese New Year, the 98% parties, right? As you know that we do the royalty caps as well, starting on the 1st of February. And so for me, I think DataLabs is the one that able to bring us to the 98% caps quite easily, right? If you say not the 98% cap, then you can easily also cap for yourself, right? Depending on how you use the data, because data is very powerful, right? And just now we have seen that we have 100 overs audience, and the number of people who logging in and trying it out, a little bit less, but I encourage all of you to start to explore it, right? Today is a session that we share how can you utilize all this data, right, to your advantage, when you are in the market with your competitors, right? You want to take more market share. How do you wanted to use that, right?
Yeah, what do you think is like why is DataLabs such an important and crucial and must-have tool for all the agents?
Because like when I first we re-explore this data labs, right? Then actually we look at like myself like just being naughty. I check on how many properties Lee Kissing own, our CEO. then Lee Kissing verified. Then when he went through the verification, he said, hey, okay, this is quite powerful because it's matching to whatever things that he's owning. Okay, means something is good, right? When we know things in advance, right? That means I think last week we had a conversation, Nicholas. We talk about I put it data labs like a crystal ball, right? Normally you wanted to have a crystal ball, you wanted to know the future, you wanted to know what's happening, right? Especially when you're in the market that a lot of movement. I think last year a lot of movement as well, a lot of transaction, and a lot of opportunity as well, right? And you wanted to look at because a lot of times, right, we are all trained by those days. I was trained by that. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? If I think most of us are trained in a way that you do the cold call, you call to someone that you don't know, you keep on calling them. After a while, right, they also imagine yourself keep on getting calls from agents. You get mad, right? Because most of them they come to you or you go to them without data, without able to show them what's the transaction price like, how do you want to educate them, because sometimes you call them they will ask for the price that you know will never sell, and you have no data to support them with the pricing strategy, right? If you go on the pricing strategy, so you just put on whatever price that they ask for and you don't show them the evidence that what is the price being transacted. Then after 3 months, the owner say, hey, you lousy agent, give you exclusive or whatever things you also can't sell. But you never provide them the data, the transaction, you educate them, right? So they have a better informed decision and they can make a better decision, right? So I believe that when we do that, then we are a little bit ahead of others. And just now when I talk about the crystal ball, how do we able to detect, right, or look at the area that you're covering, who is the new owners, who is the sellers that recently sold, maybe not by you, but you wanted to know the owner that just sold, right? And maybe there's other opportunity that for them to reinvest in other thing, right, that you have in your mind. Yeah.
Good, great. Like this is how we actually utilize DataLabs to actually add value to your clients. I think the more value that actually we bring on the table to the clients, the more stickiness that you can actually have that conversation with them. They are going to be stick together with you and continue to journey and buy more properties from you. All right. So another thing is like. And like we have been talking a lot about like the surface of data. I mean, I want to tell the audience today, like today we are going to go on hands-on that you can see how Charles is going to do that. And if you have any questions, if you have like anyone, or if you have any properties of any things that you actually want us to do it live demo, or you have been searching for certain things that you've been very hard been like have not been getting the result that you want. Today we want to do a live demo for you because we want to challenge how Charles is going to do it, because I've actually done several tests with Charles and he's able really to show me the demo, the magics of this, and we're going to go through quite a number of these together in these sessions. Like and actually let's go direct to one of the like very hip topics. Like one of the like interesting way I've actually seen Charles doing is like to use DataLabs to able to find tenancy informations of owner and tenant details. Like anyone would like to come on board and actually like tell us like what tests you like to do. You can even share about your full name, or like the address that you're in and the property that you transacted, and like see how Charles is able to show you like how we can actually utilize DataLabs for all this.
Oh, that's the challenge.
Yeah, so that's the
The
challenge,
easy one,
like to show this open challenge. So we want this to be like very interactive, very hands-on. Like if any one of you would like to volunteer yourself, like feel free to just type it on the chat. Like
or some of the
we are
area that
monitoring the chat group as well, and also on online sessions. Like feel free to just share with us any things that you have in mind that you would like us to check and do this demo with you.
or some of the area that you are covering.
Yep.
Okay, maybe I want to share my screen first.
Yep, sure. Yep. Let's get ready. Wow. Can DataLabs check value of the properties?
Right? Why not? Right? Okay.
Yep, it's coming. Good, good, good.
Okay.
Thanks, Jesse. Thanks for participating.
Can you
Let's
all
see
see
if
the
we
big
have
ang
more
pao?
questions.
That's a big ang pao for all of you today. So when you see me and Nicholas in person, don't need to ask for ang pao anymore because today we are sending you a big ang pao. Okay, so let's go to Data Labs. If you all have this is the login. So basically, all of you should have received your login via your Redfield email, okay, or KW email. So basically, the market center support already sent to you all. So basically, yeah, also reminded you the address and the password are all there. So
Right. So we
that's
also
what.
have from Jack Lee. Okay, let's go with Jesse first. All right. Can DataLabs checks value on the properties of the properties?
Okay. Let me just log in. Yeah.
For Jack, what would you like to check for Jalan Meranti? Yeah, you just want us to show you the screen. How does it look like? Or do you have any specific?
I'll just go on that. Okay.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of things that you can explore with this. So basically, why I keep on talking about exploring, right? Because sometimes we just
Okay.
think of, we want to get to know who is the owner, who is the tenant, who is the buyer, who is the seller. But you might also wanted to look at certain data that are able to help you to look at things that, let's say in demographic, right? When I look at this, of course, just now the landing page, you can look at the trend as well. What's happening? What's the market trend like? And if you look at demographic, you're able to look at the people that are selling, people who are buying, male or female. So maybe then you know that, hey, maybe this is when you talk, because just now earlier when I look at that, the majority of the buyer in the market, it's a male dominated thing, right? So and you can look at the buyer ethnic, the buyer age, the seller age. So why are those who are 50 to 60 they're selling? So basically these are the sellers who enter into retirement. So maybe they want to cash out certain some of the properties, right? So when then you know that, okay, so when you compare the buyer and age and the seller age, right, then you almost know that. So when you're calling, right, don't call to those very young one. Maybe they are not ready to sell yet, and you can see most of them are in the 40s to 50s, they're selling. So your thought process can be very different. You don't call to those condominiums that have a lot of young people, and then they're not ready to sell. Maybe it's also their first home or second home, they're still holding on. You want to call to those who are more matured, then maybe they're ready to sell. This is how I process all this data. I look at that, right? So you all go through by this, right?
Interesting, interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, Charles, there's questions on the chat that's like maybe you can dive in and see if we can basically get the property value for Jalan Meranti, Taman Sayang Selassie, and Klebang Besar Melaka.
Yeah, let me just look into this, right? Melaka. Currently we haven't have the Melaka data for this, but let me see rental wise.
There's also another one on Putra Heights Bungalow.
Yeah. So Putra Heights Bungalow, actually we can look. This is not the master list. This is on the transaction. Who's the who's a buyer, who's a seller, that maybe the records of all those transactions. But Malacca, okay. So Malacca, I think sayang Selassie.
Yeah, good. Keep the questions coming. Like I'll be actually reading those questions like coming in along the way.
You see, some of these, right? Why certain things are not inside the, because okay, I wanted to say that the data is here when it's being, the tenancy agreement being stamped, right? And then you look into certain markets, right? Why certain things are not there? Because uh, certain market that they don't like to stamp their tenancy agreement, right? Residency 22. I do the boss one first, okay? Sometimes it can be also because of so can you see Monkera, this resident C22 lah. So that day also when we had that conversation, right, with Nicholas, I what is Subbank being called? Anyone know this Subbank project in Oakland Road? Anyone have idea of that? Maybe we can talk about that as well. Yeah, so basically you can see that let's say for example this the one, right? It give you the full address, it give you the rent date, when it started, when it's going to end, right? So basically this, just like this unit, right? You know that the tenancy agreement, because the data point is with so our data point for this, I can say with LHDN. So basically it's stamped on the 7th of February 2021. Okay, so it start the tenancy from 1st of April to end of this March. So from here, right, you can know that if you might wanted to either contact with this owner, okay, Lim Chong Tek, right, whether this tenant is going to renew the tenancy, right? Or you yourself, right, you might want to find some ways to connect with this Tasuta Electronics, right, to ask with the HR whether they want to renew that, or wanted to get another place for their staff who are currently staying at the unit, right? Maybe you have a better option for them, right? Maybe you have a better unit at a better price, so you can offer them, you can propose to them. So that's why I say something like crystal ball before it end, right, the tenancy, you really can do some advanced move before your competitors on the same market doing that. Okay. Okay, value of property. Let me roll up again. I'm answering to Careful. Does DataLabs have analysis for industrial property and land? Yes, you have industrial property and land. Those transacted. But of course, then we also have the dashboard that can look into maps, right? That's why when you look into maps, that is something more advanced. And it, so I'm not transacting on land a lot, but people who transact lands, right, mentioned to me that this is really considered very, very good. You remember, if you my conversation with like Mr. Chi, Timothy To, right? Timothy To that last year transacted a big piece of land in PJ. So he also mentioned this is a 10 out of 10 thing for him, right? It's a tool that complement to whatever things that he's doing, right? Because you cannot, as an agent, right, you cannot say that, oh, this is the only thing that you just rely on, just like myself, you have to think like, okay, there are multiple things that you maybe, because when we talk about real estate business, you must think like a businessman. Right? You don't think like just you know that you need to have multiple source, right? This is one of the best source that you see the future, but like you say, owners, contacts, owners, others, information. Maybe you can we can have a separate conversation because this one is a public public thing that we're going to put it on YouTube, right? So it's not convenient to say that. Okay. So let me go to the next questions. Right? Oh, Negeri Sembilan. Yeah. So I'll check on Negeri Sembilan as well right now. So Jesse, it will tell you. So all the so you know how valuer works, right? They also when you call to the bank, you ask for valuation. They call to the valuer. The valuer will take the latest transaction as a comparison method of valuation before the transaction happen, right? Only when the transaction happens, then they'll take the unless the buyer or is ready to pay for that valuation before they do that offer, right? But very less, I think generally people won't go into that step first. Normally they just use the comparison method. What is being transacted recently on the same road or the same area. Then they look at the things that you have asked them and the things that already transacted. Is it similar? And I can tell you that nothing. They will give you something close, but they say maybe sometimes you ask whether this house will be transacted at 1 million, and recently there's something being transacted maybe for past 3 months at 1.1 or 1.2 million. When you ask for 1 million, then normally the banker will come back to you say that valuer say that it's okay, 1 million can go. But if you say that okay, 1.4, then there's a variation of some percentage that they will say maybe not, maybe to be safe they look at the latest one is 1.2, then they say yeah, maybe maximum about 1.2 to 1.3, but also subject to the valuation. So there's always the disclaimer subject to valuation until the valuer do that valuation on that property, then only they can give you the exact valuation. Okay, so let me go back to Negeri Sembilan.
Correct. Let's see. Like there's another questions on the Negeri Sembilan. Let's see if we can actually get the informations on the property value in Seremban Negeri Sembilan.
Yeah.
So I understand from Charles, like based on our field checkings, most of the transactions are available mostly in Klang Valley. Am I right to say so?
Yeah, Klang Valley, on certain area, right? I think we're going to expand lah. But from the rental wise, we have more states that we cover. So you can see from here there are some states missing, right? And for rental, there are more states being covered because there's also at the time of when we launch this, whether we are already connected with the LHDN or the data point that we are working with lah. Okay.
Right, it's good. I'll be able to see if we can basically get Negeri Sembilan. If not, we can move on to the next questions. Like there's the questions on the past transactions for terrace house in SS2, like SS2/72. SS2/70/72. Right, let's see if we can get this. Questions from Luis.
So you can select the type of building as well. So if it's terrace house, you can just narrow down to terrace house. So can you see SS2/72? Lois, wow, Lois, this ang bao for you. So basically, you can know that who are the new owners, who are the sellers that sold it. Have you transacted anything there, Lois?
Let's see whether Lois is answering. Nope, like I haven't transacted anything yet. we're able to download these informations and also like to keep it with you as well. That's the download buttons on the top right hand side.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, whether you make it into 100, right, at the same page, then you can scroll, and from
Answer to
there,
read out, yes, you can share it to your client.
yeah, you can share with your client. So for that road, right, itself, right, 2/72. From then to now, there's what 32 transaction. No? So it went back right up to from the beginning, 1999 onwards. Right, you can see. So you can even see some of the houses, how many times they've been transacted in the lifetime, from then to now. Right, then you can do yeah, it might be sometimes it's not being transacted by you, then in the past we want to see the record, right, how many times that this being transacted, then you know that okay, there's a history, and then yeah, it gives you quite a good information, right? But if you are the agent in the area, definitely you know which one is corner, which one is intermediate, and then you scroll, you can download it. So basically you just click this download button, and then you can use this report as your listing presentation. When you present, then this is the data that you can support your advice, right, on their pricing. Right, maybe you want to cover the buyers and the sellers name, but you can tell them similar units in that area, right, what are the transaction like, right? If it's freehold, then of course it's written freehold, lease expiry date. Then like PJ Old Town, right, it will display when is the lease going to expire as well. So that will ease your work lah. Okay, but like I say, this only for transacted properties, right? Those haven't transacted, then there's another way for us to use other data source to find the owner.
Right, so there's also a request by John. Can we do a comparisons of all transactions from 2021 till now for this SS2 search? Are we able to do that? To do that filter?
Yeah.
This is how you also play around with the date features as well.
Yeah. Where's the date? They said January.
From 2021, probably January 2021. Yep. That till now, today. Right. Then you can search, and then you get the result, and then you can basically generate a report from here.
So, yeah. So you can see basically, for the whole 12 months, right, there's only one being transacted, which is number 93, right? It was sold for 970,000. Okay. And yeah, this is the new owner, Seo Seng Tak. Right.
But in your opinion, Charles, like how's the market like? Like if the entire year of 2021, that's in this area, there only one transaction is going through. What's your thoughts on this?
Okay, so I don't look at just one road. Basically, if I wanted to search, right, maybe I'll look at SS2. I don't.
Yeah, instead of the road, right? Just entire SS2 area.
Yeah. Then I look at SS2. Then I look at for the past 1 year. Then for me, as an agent, I will decide whether this is a good area, or how do I wanted to increase that number of transactions, right? So basically for SS2 for the past
1 year.
1 year is 19, right? So how many have you done in that area, right? So what's the market share like? So and of course, the more transaction means there are more opportunity for you, right, to go into that area and build your reputation, or nurture the neighborhood with your brand, with your presence, right? Just now as the new owner for number 93, right, I can also search for the owner, whether sorry, so I didn't manage to copy that name, but just now you can see some of the name, right? Lee Kissing, right? We can also search for whether sometime when we look, we saw that some of the owners is here, right? Then we wanted to see whether they are the investors or not, right? Because investor means they are not buying only one house, ma. So over the years they may be accumulating houses, right? So for example, just now I put down a name.
There's also the buttons on analyze the result. That's there's a tool for the agent to communicate to the owners. Would you be able to share with us that, Charles?
Yeah.
Analyze the result. Yeah.
So many questions. Yeah, not currently. I think on the search parameter there are something not linking. But if normally when we search on that, they give you the analysis on the prices and the
I
median.
think it's because of there's a buyer name there.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah.
can probably remove the buyer name.
Yeah,
Yep.
sorry.
And do a
Yeah,
search again. And then we can do another analysis.
yeah.
Yeah.
I already removed. Oh, this one too much. Sorry, I accidentally pressed search. So currently it just processed the whole KL transaction.
Right. While Charles is preparing that, so let me try to answer some of the questions over the chat groups. I think there's questions on whether, in regards of sharing to the customers, whether this is against the PDPA. Like I think it's a PDPA in regards of like these are all informations over here are public informations where you can basically share. And what Charles have actually mentioned that so you might want to cover up the owner's information, their name as well. Like when you actually share it with the customer, you can actually, when you extract that, you are able to actually filter what information that you would like to be on your report at the same time. Yeah. Yeah, I think for name is not under PDPA. Like once you go into the informations like the mobile number is where the PDPA come in the pictures. Like with my previous background in the telcos that we are able to really check against this as well. So it's important that we do not like publicly share informations like insights about the customers, especially the mobile number, the date of birth, and account stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, the IC number.
That's why you see certain things are not there, right? The phone number because it's PDPA, and you all have to get your own source or pandai to talk to the right people in the office to get the information. And maybe I'll answer Daniel Chin, right? He asked how complete is your sales transaction compared to bricks. So how many of you have been using bricks and the brand B, the brand B that have been promoting all these transaction data. If you realize that the latest data that they have is year end 2020. So if you are still using that or still subscribe to that, right, then basically you are seeing everything that before 2020 or 2021 January, before 2021 January. And now today we are already at 2022. So basically if you're still using that, maybe you are a step back already, right? So how do you want to use that advantage? And if you look into bricks, right, they tell you the transaction data, but they don't tell you the owners and the new owner and the sellers. So what you want to do, like just now I mentioned, right, you wanted to able to look at the seller that just sold the house. Maybe there are also investors that currently they're disposing, right? You search them, then maybe you say that okay, you can see that how many other things that they own. Maybe you want to ask them that is there anything that you can help them with, right?
To adding on to that also, like according to Fifi, that's like she have used bricks, and there's no land size, and also prices are also prices based on build up. All right, so it's much better that we have the DataLabs
Yeah,
information.
and then you realize like the title number. You want to check whether some of the title that you cited, right, whether is a uh, is a right thing, the lot number and stuff, right, whether it matches, right. Of course, for stratified is quite easy, but if you go on those land, or you go, I think especially land, and that's why they always have the scam. Land scam, you heard about that, right? But any properties with building, I think less likely that you have that potential of being scammed. But you also wanted to, sometimes you talk to that person, right, it's not the registered owner, right, and they have no rights to receive commission, receive deposit, or no rights to sign on certain papers. And you don't want, you see, sometimes agent also, any one of you have challenges, and when you ask for title, or you want to cite their title, and owner, the person that you talk to maybe is a lady, then the registered one is like, for example, of course, Likising, you see the plus one is the wife lah. So you know that either this is what owned by a person or a joint owner, right? So joint owner, sometimes when you sign certain documents, you need both party to sign, right? And it can be, you see, sometimes like it's only one owner who sign, and then they might also use this as a escape clause, that they don't want to proceed with the deal later on. They will say that actually when I sign it, it's only one owner. So currently the second joint owner not agreed to the price, or not agreed to sell it. Then that, of course, you as an agent, you have a lot of things that you, after that, you have to do with the buyer that offer that, right? Or things already been accepted, but on the SPA they didn't get through to that stage. So sorry, I look at the latest text. Shima by Shima, is this DataLabs updated directly from LHDN, TNB, Shabas, Majlis? So Shima, actually is from a few data source, but definitely is not from TNB and Shabas. TNB, Shabas is those, they on somehow in certain way you are able to get the telephone number and stuff lah. But that's why that is violating the PDPA, right?
Yeah, and we're not into that, like the public information where you can actually show this demo to your clients, and also like while we recruitment as well, want to ensure that we are also compliant. We also compliant to Data Protections Act at the same time. Like while we actually it's very important, like for any one of us to actually to master like the search and to play around in DataLabs. The best thing is actually to jump in and do the searches by yourself, and just go and play around. Because I personally see this live demo, like how Charles has been actually doing this. Because just like a couple of days before Chinese New Year, like myself, Ashlyn, and Charles, we were actually meeting with these R2 agents for recruitments. And we are talking a lot about like the cultures and tax, and how we can actually add value to their groups, and how they can actually get the best benefits may actually come on board with us in Keller Williams. And most of the things doesn't really excite him until the stage where Charles did a live demo on like the tenancy the tenancies informations, like how he actually locates the informations, and show this insight depths on how to basically use this. Like it's really exciting to see this demo live. I want to encourage all of you to really do this, especially when you do a live demo with your client. You can basically just ask them questions, and then just open up this platform, and then to show them live is interesting to basically. And at the end of the conversation, these R2 agents acknowledge that this is actually one of the very important tool for him, and this can really help him to supercharge his business. And best of all, it is free when you're part of Keller Williams to basically do this.
Yeah. this is basically one of the agent that is talk about lah. Just before he left that meeting, right? Then I said, hey, maybe I'll show you this. Do you do a lot of, because they do a lot of transaction on rental. So basically, then I said maybe I'll show you, because they are covering pavilion suites, right? Then I just search on this, and then they themselves verified that okay, these are the some of the tenants or the owners that they're dealing with. The units are really matching, right? That's why after that meetings, they also come back to Ashrin and say that, hey, maybe we wanted to explore a little bit further with us, because you see, agents who are outside, they see this as a crystal ball, and when we have this data in our just right in front of you, why not we just explore, like play around with it, right? Then because you just have to think like in a way, how do I want to go more deeper to look into certain of this data to your advantage, right? And that's, I keep on saying that to your advantage, because in the past, right, 10 years ago, when I'm an agent, I don't have this, or 5 years ago, I don't even get this, right? I don't get to see this, and unless you are with the valuation firm, right? If you are not with a valuation firm, I think none of the agency are really investing into this. And today, I can tell you that every of our agent having their own assets, right? Which means, right, you don't need to go back to your market center support, or you don't need to ring up your market center support just to get this done, right? You yourself, even on the go, you can even use your mobile. Like myself, I use my mobile, and you can even access it from your mobile, all this data. But of course, it's a smaller screen, right?
Yeah, like also like John would like us to also share, like to click on the analyze result to see like how we can basically demonstrate this as well. All right, it's good.
Yeah. Okay, so you tell you that so there are how many transactions being transacted, the average price, like the average price per square feet, like, and yeah. So when you sit down with the owners, for this is tenancy lah, so you're able to advise them with data, right? So they don't put too low, or you don't advise them to put too low, or you don't they don't put too high. Of course, every owner will always ask for a sky high price, right? And you just want them to be realistic, because you are there to help them. When you don't have the data to support, right, you are not able to help them. You just say that, okay, basically it's being transacted. You see, a lot of times, right, the owner will go to the portals, right, they say, hey, people ask so high, man, why you ask me for so low? But you got to tell them that, or you go to portals, right, people ask, there are so many agents ask for so low, and because they are also fishing for clients, right? Then the owner said, "Ayah, so low." Maybe you are be realistic that what's being transacted rather than what's being asked or demand from the market, right? Because sometimes whatever agents that not so ethical, I think, when they fish for clients, right, and they put so much lower price, so it will eventually bring down, because for the tenants, or for the consumer who are shopping for properties, they also don't know anything being transacted, what's the price being transacted. They don't see what is being displayed on their screen, right, from the portals, and those portals also don't monitor, but because it's up to the agent to put down the price, what is being asked, right, for these ads, right, the price being asked.
Like adding on to that, also like Marcus mentioned, that there's also a comparison tool to that. You can easily compare 2 or more locations side by side at the same time as well. So this is where like you can go and play around with this. Yeah, the comparison tool is really good according to John. It's good. Like let's dive in a little bit more on like I have a couple more other questions. Charles, often heard like from like the real estate agents or the negotiators that the owner search is one of the most important successes for the business. The ability to get the right owner's informations and to reverse engineer that informations and to get the deeper insights that will actually help them to be ahead of the game. Like often when I do this exercise with you, you manage to impress me with the how you actually find those informations and find out like who else is actually staying in that properties, and also how many properties that the agents, the owners are actually having. Like you did a great example of like John Lee, right? So like I think like after this, everybody is going to like check him out, right? On in DataLabs and also find ways.
That's a good example. That's a good investors man. That so sometimes you don't just search for one owner and then just stop there, right? You might wanted to look at the person who call you, the one who you receive call from, right? Once you know, I think you can use Truecaller. Then you can have other source that you can check their full name and the IC, right? Then when you after you have checked that, then you say that, oh, maybe I want to know that whether this person is an investor like what he claimed. Right? Sometimes people can talk very big, man. They come to you, hey, I'm an investor, I own 20 properties, so don't tell me how to invest. Then maybe you want to check that whether he invests 20 properties, right? But you don't mention how you check, man. So you want to go on other source that, or you can even use this DataLabs, put his name like Likit Singh, right? That for example, just now you can see Likit Singh owns so many. Then you say, okay, this one is real investor, right? So someone who you wanted to know that who are you dealing with. That's very important. And you also that you can also search on there are many things that how you use the data. The data is always there, but if you don't use it, you are not able to monetize from there. But imagine today, right? Just now, like I put down the pavilion, the certain rental, let's say, is they are ranging from 5,000 to 10,000. Then, how many transactions want to transact in that buildings, right? Or in that area, you can search on, like for example, Mont Kiara, or if you specializes on bungalow in one area, maybe you want to look at the data that, okay, if I specializes in this area, just like last week, there's one, I can't mention, there's one good agent who have been with Bukit Damansara for a very, very long time, also came on board with us after I've shown the DataLabs, right? So for him, it's like, hey, at first they said, hey, your agent also, there's one agent of ours always in red, also very strong in that area. Then he mentioned to me that how do I compete with her? Then I said, it's all right, that's her business, and you want to do your build your business as well, right? So how we want to utilize the data to advantage. So I showed him about this. Then he was okay. Actually on that coffee session itself, he after that coffee session, he won't straight away sign up with us, because he know that he don't get this with the companies that he's current with, right? So those who cover Bukit Damansara, sooner later you can see more banners of refuse are there lah.
Amazing. Like from what you have shared, like Charles, I understand that it's not so much about the tool we actually provide to you. Yes, it's important, it's fundamentals of it. Like you need the tool to be successful, but having the right tool, you also need to have the right mindset and also the ability to dissect the data, like ability to also understand how to you actually use the data. So the ability to actually reverse engineer and also to think how you actually can make good use of the data is very important. So I think over here in Keller Williams, like we train all our leaders, our agents over here to basically to be tech enablers, the ability to actually dissect the data, use the data, and how you can basically add more value to your customer, not just giving you the tools. That's where like we have a lots of trainings coming up in this area. Like feel free to also type it on the chat, like if there are any specific things that you would like to learn in regards to DataLabs, or in regards to any tech segments and areas. Feel free to let us know, or let your market centers like your team leaders know, so that we can actually provide a more valuable trainings program to all of you as well, and or even like provide a hands-on demo like for your group, so that we can actually like train you more on how to be well versed in this software that we have. Yeah.
So yeah, one other thing that I wanted to mention is don't just search on the address or on the location. There are so many things, other things, that other field that you can put in, right? So you also wanted to narrow down certain things, like okay, yeah, like just now the time. Let's say you are maybe not so seasoned agent in one area. You want to go into the area. You want to make sure that they have enough transaction to fit yourself and your family, right? Then you can filter, like just now John mentioned, okay, you want to put down the date, right, for past 12 months, how many transactions in this area. Then you decide, okay, is this good enough for you, or how many, what's the market share that you want to capture. You also must have a plan. You cannot just go in an area, right? Like some of the areas, because myself that day, my conversation with Nicholas, we look at certain areas, right? When we look at the transaction is less than 20 transactions, then I just show him that I go to portals and look at how many agents are there. Wow, there are like 50 agents for 20 transactions last year. That means that if average one of them can transact one unit, there's still 30 that cannot get anything from there. So you want to make a better decision for yourself, or even though you say, okay, maybe I'm competing with 50 agents over in that area, for the 20 transaction, how you want to build your business, right? Out of the 20, maybe you have 10 or 12. Then yeah, that's how you have to think like that. Or with the maybe certain people who are into rental, right? Then you want to choose somewhere that there are a lot of rental market, and there's a lot of transaction happening over that area. But yeah lah, just the rental thing won't help you for long term. Short term, that's only the thing that you want to do. But wisely, work wisely with all the data that you have.
It's good. What Charles have just mentioned is basically that we also touch on one of the model of MREA models on this, like the rate book that's we all like ought to read, that the Millionaire Real Estates Agents by Greg Keller. Like there were sold over 1 million copies worldwide. It touched on the model, on the lead generations model, specifically on the positioning better. What Charles have just mentioned is basically on that model, because any success in any industry is all about the model and system, and real estate have no exclusions of that. Yeah, like and based on the MIA like a model, like under a constant bombardments of advertising and marketing, the human minds become saturated by brands and can host only a finite like numbers at any one time. The research from the National Associations of Realtors, like according to the book in USA, shows that roughly 86.5% of all buyers and sellers seem to have room for only 1 or 2 real estate agents in their mind. From this, we can clearly see that the mind share for any real estate agent is slim to none. Right, in the battle for real estate's consumer mind share, so like we are either ahead of in a class, or we are actually lost in the mess. So it's very important for all of us to understand that how can we always be in the top of mind in the consumer mind share, so that like whenever the customers think of buying properties, they actually always think of you. So it's very important that for us to understand, and also to choose the right properties in the area and the locations to focus on, not just based on convenience, based on where you are, but based on data and facts. This is where we actually, which is what Charles had just mentioned and shared just now.
Can I add in on what you have shared with them, right?
Yep.
So basically, when just now when Nicholas talked about mind share, right? Mind share, that's how you want to build your business. That every time that they thought about properties, they thought about real estate investment, they think about you as an agent of choice. To do that, right, you look at DataLabs, right? There are a lot of things apart from searching. You might also wanted to do certain bulletins or certain touch point. Let's say you see that transaction happen, right? You wanted to send to all the owners that maybe you don't tell the units. You can tell them the road or the which floor being rented out at that price. So imagine you are a person who are receiving information from agent from time to time about all these updates, comparing with an agent who never update the owners, who is gaining the mind share. Definitely they will have the idea of you are being the agent of choice because you know so much about this area, you know so much what's happening, what's being transacted, who is renting out at what price, what are the things are. And because all these are, as long as they are stamped, right, as long as they are being as long as they are transacted, right, then yeah, you can see that is in the record.
In the chat also, John has also did a quick comparisons of 4 bungalow locations in Klang Valley, and there's basically just share that PDF to all of us. Feel free to just download it and actually get the information. And it's just trying to show you how easy that you can just do it on the go and do it real quick. It's less than 5-10 minutes that you're able to produce comprehensive reports for your customers at the same time. Yep. Let's see if we have any more questions before we wrap up for today. Charles, if there's only one thing that the real for real estate agents that must do today, and the rest of the other things that do not matter anymore, what do you think would that one thing?
I think if I'm the agent, I will try to think a way, right, to gain more mind share, and that's how I'm going to get my market share in the area. So what are the things that I'm willing to do where other agents not willing to do, right? For me, because this advantage for me, right? If I have all this data, how I want to utilize? You see, if you just think I just utilize to search on transaction, but you never utilize to gain the market share, you don't have the mindset to grow your business, then of course there's always maybe up and downs. But you want to always do the business in a way that everything that happen in that area will come back to you, right? Because you do so much, right? It's always what you're willing to do to able to get that business. You cannot say that, oh, the common agent are doing this, so I'm just following them. Then definitely you'll become the common agents, that eventually you'll be wiped out. What you want to do, you'll be you based on the model, or you want to work differently to get a different result. You cannot work the same as what you've been taught before, because now have changed. Like I say, 10 years ago, I come to the market, I don't get this. So I don't get to do this. But today, if I have this information, I got to change the way that I conduct my business, right? To gain more market share, to gain more mind share. That's how I'm going to win.
It's good. Thanks, Charles. And I have a special gift for all the guests that's joined us this morning. So you actually see this book, right? The One Thing. So this is #1 best seller, one thing that helped you to cut through the clutter, helped you to achieve better results, and also in lesser time, and also master what matters to you. If you're interested to actually get this book, feel free to just private message me while the Zoom is still on, and then we'll prepare this special gift for you. And this tremendous value in this one book, and it's also things that Charles have just mentioned, it's only one thing that you can do, the rest of the other things don't matter, and you got to really read this book and be part of us, so that we can train you and equip you more to be a tech-enabled agent in this.
Yeah. That do the one things that matters the most, right? Where others, just to add in also before we close, right, on the announcement, you see a lot of things, right? You can see in the market, agent have to get attention, they dance or they sing, they do movie to get attention. But if you put yourself as an owner, right, you don't deal with those who entertainers. You want to deal with those who give you information. You want to deal with those who have information on their fingertip. It's not like, wow, those that Chinese New Year do movie lah, sing lah, dance lah. You don't deal with those agents if you are the serious owners. That's something that I want to remind, right? Don't follow others who are doing things that don't matters, won't help. You get some attention lah, but the attention is just temporary. Their attention is temporary. You wanted to gain those confidence, right? Is to give data, to give those valuable data, right? What's being transacted. Then, wow, if imagine today you keep on receiving information from Nicholas, you eventually will think that Nicholas is the one that knows so much about this market compared to the one who sings song for you for Chinese New Year. Every Chinese New Year they sing a song for you. It won't help your business, right? Okay, that's all from me.
Right. Thanks, Charles. Just to clarify, like many of you have messaged me about like getting this book, and this book I'm giving it to our guests, like not KW associates, like we should have already read this book, but this is for those who are actually like being invited to join this as well, still not be part of Keller Williams yet. So like PM me, and then I will basically get this book on hold to you. Like, let me just summarize this to conclude for today sessions. Like DataLabs is designed, right, as a single source of information, like where we actually gather all the data in the industry. We work very closely with the privates and also like a public authorize a body to actually hold all these transaction informations in real time so that we can deliver the right data and insights to all of you. With DataLabs, like you actually have the ability to know exactly who to talk to, like to understand the buyer profiles and also the purchasing behavior, and also the ability to identify the specific trends and also gaps in the markets. With this intelligence, like you can make an informed decisions with the latest market insights and informations, be the expert to help your customers to diagnose, monitor, and evaluate the property's valuations, and able to help to also leverage on DataLabs' latest trends and transactions to help you to develop as an expert in the specific areas that you want to focus to buy, sell, and invest. Like in a nutshell, like through DataLabs, you're not only able to reduce costs, making faster decisions, and improve the process efficiencies. Like this will easily cost you about 400 over ringgit, like when you subscribe to a similar platform out there, right? But if you are part of KW's like Malaysia as our agent, you're able to actually get this for free. To learn how you can actually get access to this powerful tool, talk to the you to this seminar, and I look forward to have many more interactions with all of you again in our upcomings like Winning Mondays. With that, I'm going to pass the time to Yunqing for the last closing announcements. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thanks, Charles.
Thanks, Nicholas and Charles. Okay, so before we end the session, so just a reminder that the emails have already been sent out last Monday afternoon. So it was right before the first day of Chinese New Year. This is our ang pao to you. Okay, so remember to check your KW Malaysia email, okay, for an email entitled Welcome to KW Malaysia Data Labs. Okay, so remember it has been sent out last Monday, but if you've checked through and you have not received it, please let your MCS know and they will know how to sort that out for you. All right. Now, the next thing is, as always, we have our touch points that are updated weekly, and it is posted on KW Malaysia Happenings. Okay, so it's no longer Refill Happenings. It is now posted on KW Malaysia Happenings. Okay, so these touch points are designed for you to use it on your social media and to do as it says, it touch your clients. Every week we update with at least 2 new ones. And I think by now we have a library of a lot. So if this is not relevant for you this week, you can always find the ones from the previous weeks as well. So you can find all of this with the WhatsApp copy and the posting copy all on KW Malaysia Happenings. So on that note, we have kind of rebranded and relaunched as KW Malaysia. So if you're looking for us on Facebook or Instagram or even on YouTube, please look out for KW Malaysia. Okay, so follow us there and let's stay connected and keep updated, especially for our guests as well. So you can find out when the next training is and just get all of these added values even in the days to come. All right, so that is it. Nicholas and Charles, do you have any maybe last few words before we end off the session?
Yeah. How's today's ang pao? Is it good? The tips for you to gain your ang pao for the whole year, not just these 14 days. or 15 days. All right. So utilize whatever thing that we provided to you, and then build your business. And yeah, big ang pao careful. Thank you. Right. I think this is worth more than 100,000 because if you know how to utilize it, right?
Right. For those who have PM me, like the guests, like have responded to you, like and feel free to get in touch with the person who actually invited you to get, like, they will know how to get hold of me, and then like I'll pass you guys like this book. Thank you very much. Like I think I have replied to Eric, and also like a couple of them as well, like who have actually PM me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you. That's the end of the session. Bye, everybody.
Bye.